with the SmackDown Go Home episode being the only roadblock left to the 2026 Royal Rumble, it's time to drop my predictions for the first PLE of the new year. I may have already changed my mind on the Women's Rumble winner, and I want to hold firm to my men's winner, but an entry technically not in is starting to creep in my second guessing of the Men's Royal Rumble winner. And is this truly Styles' last match? In the WWE at least? All those thoughts and more as Left Turn, Right Hooks starts right now. Welcome to episode 37 of Left Turn, Right Hooks. I'm your host, Dan Lindsay. The Rumble is just hours away, and it's time for some picks and overall thoughts of WWE's start of 2026. First off, man oh man, has Punk given us some top-notch title matches since the start of the year. Bron Breakker, then Finn Bálor and Belfast, and then AJ Styles the other night on Raw. Thank you, CM Punk. I say thank you because it's really made up for the lack of action and the rest of the Raw title scenes. Yes, the rest of the Raw title scenes. I'm glad Stephanie is back and mostly healthy. Her and Raquel are on a collision course for the Raw after Rumble, I believe. The Intercontinental titles pictures are super meh. Honestly, Raw just needs more wrestling right now. A lot of talking segments, they need more wrestling, and part of it starts with the IC title pictures. I'm pretty sure they could have taken the title off of Dominik and been okay. But then again, maybe they don't need it right now. They are doing fine. They're filling time on Netflix fine, but again, I like to see more wrestling, less talking. And it's not like you don't have Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, Javon Evans, now you have Austin Theory. We haven't even talked about Obafemi. He's technically on the main roster. Plenty of guys that could have been an interim champion for just a little bit, or at least been discussing, hey, can I have this since he's hurt? But they decided not to do that, and that's fine. It's not the most grievous title picture that we have on Raw right now. Because, of course, the women's IC title is still on Becky Lynch. Please give me Natty, the new Natty, Bayley, Ivy Nile, literally any other one person than Becky, so we don't have to see her and AJ Lee fight for that title in WrestleMania. In my last video, I went on this before. AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, I know they're going to probably have a grudge match at WrestleMania, but we don't need to have the IC title around the waist of Becky Lynch for that. I understand from WWE's perspective, it just elevates that title more if it's on her at WrestleMania, because obviously a big deal. But again, I mentioned more people. What's Asuka doing right now? Could put it on Kairi Sane. We haven't seen Lyra around the picture for a little bit. There's plenty of women that could step into this picture. And again, didn't even mention Maxine. I don't think she's going to have the title anytime soon again because of Natty. But again, there's plenty of people that could help fill the void. So we could just get that Becky Lynch, AJ Lee grudge match that is supposedly happening at WrestleMania. It doesn't have to have the title. But the worst picture of them all right now is probably the WWE World Tag Team titles for Raw. Because after 6 months, we finally have a Creed Brothers sighting. It's nice to see them once again, even if it's been 6 months. However, though, in this qualifier that we had, this for the number one contendership for those titles that the Usos hold, if it's supposed to be Alpha Academy that it did win the qualifier and was planned to win the qualifier, why did they try out the New Day? I feel like if the New Day is in a qualifying match for number one contender, even though they already had a chance at those titles, it's like kind of a shot to their face when you have the lower end of the tag team division on this qualifier, and then you have the New Day. Just a little weird to me. And obviously, I love Otis. Tozawa's definitely comic relief. But do we truly believe that they are going to really go toe-to-toe with the Usos? I don't know. Remains to be seen. But speaking of believing, I do not want to believe that Saturday could be Styles' retirement match, or at least his last WWE retirement match. Given the fact that we've gotten Styles and Shinsuke on Saturday night's main event, and Styles and Punk just the other night, it makes sense that WWE and Styles could truly be going through with this. I just feel there's so much more for AJ Styles to bring to the table for WWE for the rest of this year. And if we're going to have Gunther and Styles match number 2, I feel that that should easily go to match number 3 at some point later this year. And I honestly could get behind Gunther retiring Styles instead of Finn, like I originally talked about a few weeks ago. But if this truly happens, I feel we need to re listen to the Styles' promo at the beginning of Raw this past Monday. He said Gunther would be trying to end his WWE career, not his wrestling career, his WWE career. Take that as you will. To me, that means we could see him continue to wrestle majority of the year somewhere else. Probably TNA, maybe even AEW or New Japan, I suppose. But TNA would seem to make more sense, seem to stick out a little more, especially with an existing relationship already there with WWE. And then Styles could actually pop up on a couple more WWE PLEs as a TNA talent, and we could still see him on our screens for a little bit longer, even though he's been retired by Gunther. Again, I hope that it's Styles that wins this match, not Gunther. And if you haven't picked up, I'm really hoping that Styles wins this match. That is my first pick of this podcast. Styles over Gunther. I am picking him. I am cheering him. I really want him to win. I doubt I will be right here. It seems kind of weird to have Gunther lose to Styles because of who he's retired already with Goldberg and with John Cena. But stranger things have happened, I guess. And again, could just be continuing feud that we pick up at some point later in the year. But Gunther Styles, I'm picking AJ Styles. Moving on to the other non-Rumble matches, Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed WWE Championship. But let's back up to the first week of January. I'm super happy that Drew won the belt on SmackDown. I was hoping for it when I recorded the first episode of this year. I'm super happy that Drew won. I've already gone over a list of multiple contenders for Drew on that episode. Please go check it out. I didn't include Trick Williams at the time. He's a lot more over on the main roster than I thought he would be. And maybe even an inclusion of Matt Cardona could happen there. Long list of suitors for Drew McIntyre. I hope his title reign lasts through WrestleMania 42. I know he's facing Sami this week. He won the number one contendership, Fatal 4-Way, but with knock down Sami, and we have plenty of other contenders for that title. And I feel like Drew can take on all those comers right now. Let's not worry about involving Jacob Fatu or Cody Rhodes, which I'll touch on in a minute here, but I feel like between Trick, between Damien, you can call back to his history with last year's WrestleMania matches. You can call back to previous matches and run-ins with Randy Orton and Drew. A lot of opportunity to really enhance some other feuds that were kind of touched on last year. We could really enhance this year. And that would keep with my prediction of keeping Cody away from the title through WrestleMania. And he has this feud with Jacob that's going to go 2 or 3 matches probably at least. But that way, Drew can have plenty of contenders. Honestly, if he can take out Sami at Royal Rumble, I envision him. You could do Drew and Damien at Elimination Chamber. Then at WrestleMania, grandest stage of them all, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. What a wonderful match that would be for the Universal title, as Randy is still on the hunt for that extra championship for him, so we can get that 15th championship of his. So I think you can do a lot of fun, good, solid storyline with Drew. Keep Cody away from the title for a while. Cody, Jacob, Saturday night's main event. I was shocked that was not an actual match, but it worked out really well. I thought that was a great segment to kick off the Saturday night's main event, where you just had an all-out brawl across the arena. I think it was great. Honestly, a feud like that, the way that started, I feel like the only way to end that feud is a last standing match or even an Iron Man match, just because those two are hard to knock down. I feel you could have some fun, really good stipulations, street fight stipulations, whatever you want, no DQ stipulations, just because those two are just mammoth guys. But going back again to Drew, let's give Drew a good reign here. I know some people want the title off of Drew and onto Sami already, since Sami won the number one contendership. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's too early to pull that trigger. But I feel like you could have Sami around for other stuff still. But I'm saying Chamber for Drew and Damien, WrestleMania, Drew and Randy. You can honestly insert multiple people for those. You can make the World Heavyweight Championship a chamber match, even if you wanted to. I think you do a lot of fun things with Drew as title holder, and again, keep Jacob and even Cody away from that title picture. So if it wasn't already obvious for this weekend, I am taking my pick of this title match to be Drew McIntyre. He will down Sami Zayn, and we'll move on to other feuds and matches for Drew. Cody and Jacob will continue on through. Maybe they'll have their rubber match at WrestleMania if they actually keep on having actual matches, or if they keep on deciding to fight before the bell rings. All right, well, on to the Women's Royal Rumble. In years past, when it comes to Rumbles, legends would be expected for both the men's and women's side. And I think the women's side has needed a little bit more the last few years. Or crossovers with TNA talent. It's kind of how WWE got Naomi to come back. It's how they got Jordan Grace in the fold. The women's roster is pretty full compared to years past. WWE truly needs every ounce of the women's roster to fill out the Rumble. But I feel like, again, it's not as thin as years past. So I'm kind of on the fence about legends in the Rumble anymore, especially on the men's side, which I'll get into later. But on the women's side, I think it's more of not who is going to show up on the legend side. It's more of, first question being, who's going to show up from the injury report? Is it going to be Bianca Belair? Tiffany Stratton even? Maybe we don't see either. I wouldn't be surprised if we see both of them. I think that will drastically change the outcome of the match and possibly my pick for this match. I'm hedging my bets with Bianca. I don't believe that she's going to be back quite yet. I think the rumors tend to favor Tiffany coming back here more, but both could show up. They would both help freshen up the main title picture. Honestly, both title pictures if you wanted to, but the main title picture for sure with Jade if Bianca and Tiffany both came back. Another question is, again, instead of legends, how many NXTers do we get? Sol Ruka wouldn't be surprising. Maybe Blake Monroe. Jada Parker just came back to NXT. Lola Vice, Zarya. I guess we could get Trish Stratus or Nikki Bella. Bella's kind of, I guess, on the roster right now, so wouldn't be surprised if she showed up. But yeah, I think it's more of, again, not the legends that will show up. Who comes off from the injury report, who comes up from NXT. And honestly, people from NXT and off the injury report that maybe you kind of impact some of the lore card of the main roster, the likes of Candice, Ivy Nile. It could be to where some people that should get some shine don't. And I don't think the use of legends is as heavily needed as in years past for the Women's Royal Rumble, though I definitely want to see this new Natty and Maxine get into a little bit during the Rumble. To me, it's also interesting which of the tag teams will help each other in the ring during the Rumble and which won't, since this tag division has so many world champs. I feel like the Rumble could be fodder for Charlexa or Rio or even Nia and Lash Legend to have their differences of opinions clash and go up to singles runs. It's been kind of rumored. I feel like with so many teams heavily dependent on former world champions, one team, if not more, has to crack sooner than later. It's just a matter of which one. So for this with the Rumble, I don't feel it's going to be a lot of legends. NXTers are hopeful participants for me. Maybe Tiffany, maybe Bianca here. But when it comes down to my pick for the winner of this Rumble, it's kind of hard. It's easy and hard at the same time. Everyone seems to be on Liv Morgan for the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, and I don't think it's that easy. It makes sense. She is always in that title picture. She never really lost it outside of her injuries. So I think if it isn't Liv, it could be someone from the tag division. Alexa Bliss kind of pops by head first. Chelsea Green could be a fun winner after being a popular Money in the Bank winner in recent years, but that doesn't seem to be a quite right fit just yet. And if Bianca truly does return, it honestly wouldn't shock me if they didn't pick her to win the Rumble. But I'm going to stick with my pick at the beginning of the year. My pick for the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be Liv Morgan, but I'm going to throw a caveat on there. it will not be Liv if Bianca does indeed return. But I'm not expecting Bianca to return, so I'm going to stick with Liv Morgan, only for her to lose her WrestleMania match because of Raquel interference, as I mentioned on my podcast earlier this year. So Liv Morgan, your women's Royal Rumble winner. All right, let's move on to the men's side. Just as I was about to record today, Brock Lesnar officially let us know that he'll be traveling to Saudi. Color me not surprised on that one. I want to see him and Bron go at it for sure, or him and Jacob Fatu, or him and Oba, or him and Bronson Reed. The alpha monster versus the new monster, or a new monster, right? I would love to see Brock, tangle with one of those four, if not all four, in the Rumble. All four of them are going to be in the Royal Rumble. Oh, and I do believe that Finn Bálor will find a way into the Rumble. I suspect someone like one of the Americanos or something like that will get bounced before they hit the ring, and Bálor will jump into the ring instead. At least that's what I hope. I do want to see Finn Bálor in this Rumble. I kind of alluded to that earlier. I feel like he could be an easy pick to win the Rumble, given his match against Punk just a couple weeks ago, if he was in it. But if he's not, then that's fine. Rey Mysterio is supposedly hurt, but it doesn't sound like it's major. But again, a possible replacement opportunity there for going to Finn Bálor from Rey Mysterio, which honestly could ignite some fun stuff, as that probably wouldn't sit best with Rey Mysterio after the fact. The men's Royal Rumble is stacked, and with just over half the spots spoken for, here's what I'm hoping we see. Chris Jericho is definitely at the top of the list for me. Rumors were going crazy for him to join WWE at the end of last year and beginning of this year, but then all of a sudden those rumors fell silent. It feels like I haven't seen much of anything about him, so I don't know if we're actually going to see him or not. I feel it'd be fun to see him in the Rumble. Maybe we get him, maybe we don't. Here's hoping we do, though, as it just seems right for the Walls of Jericho ending their career in WWE. Other participants that I'm hoping we see off the injury reserve a little bit, I guess you could say. Chad Gable is the name at the top of that list. I see in here he's a little more jacked than ever before, which is kind of crazy. LA Knight, Dominik Mysterio. Dominik's been hurt. Knight's just not been involved in storylines. They can easily pop up. It would be nice to have them back. Santos, he was supposed to be repackaged, get a new look, something like that. Maybe he pops up for a hot minute. Street Boat Profits, they're in the same boat. We haven't seen them in a while. Where have they been? They could show up. I say all those names just to say, again, I don't feel we need legends in the men's Royal Rumble. There's a ton of people that could be participants in the Rumble. I have not even mentioned the likes of Matt Cardona, Trick Williams, Randy Orton, Aleister Black, Damian Priest, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, The New Day. Plenty of names to mention that could fill the Royal Rumble. The legends aren't necessarily needed at all. Honestly, we almost have enough men to fill a second Royal Rumble. I'll get to that in a second. But that makes me just more curious again to see who actually gets these spots. It's going to be a well-earned spot, I hope, for these guys. NXTers could be coming up, though I will say it might be less likely because Oba and Trick and Javon, who are already on the main roster, would have been easy picks from NXT, but they're all main roster guys, so we know we're going to see Javon, likely going to see Oba. I think he's technically a participant in the Rumble. Don't know about Trick yet. I guess we can maybe see Ethan Page or Ricky Saints, but again, I don't know if we need to see them. Joe Hendry, obviously.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
He's kind of NXT talent technically still. If they want to go to the TNA pool, Leon Slater, Santana, they're the champions on TNA. But again, there's so many men that could be pulled in for the Rumble, and there's only so many spots. Like, honestly, I feel like we could fill a second Royal Rumble. And here's a super random idea for the Royal Rumble. Why not 2 Royal Rumbles? So here's my thought here. If we were to have 2 men's Royal Rumbles, one could be winner gets the World Heavyweight Champion, and of the first one, the second one gets the champion of the Universal title. And honestly, if we're going to 2 nights for WrestleMania, we are 2 nights for WrestleMania. We are 2 nights for SummerSlam now. If the Royal Rumble were to follow that Discord and go to 2 nights, that would be a great solution to anchoring both nights. You have a men's Royal Rumble for one title, and you have another Rumble for the other title. Anchor both nights. You have plenty of men, and you still would be leaving out plenty of people on the card, but you have plenty of guys to fill 2 Rumbles at this point. We don't need any legends. We may not need any NXTers or even TNA guys, but I still get the understanding of that pop of having those types of guys. Okay, well, after that, I still need to get to my pick for the men's Royal Rumble. At the beginning of the year, I was hoping Bron Breakker would lose to CM Punk. He did at the first Raw of the new year. And then he would get his redemption at the Rumble by winning it and then face CM Punk at WrestleMania. Punk just needed to do stuff until they meet again. I think that part has worked on the part of Punk. But now it doesn't quite seem like Bron Breakker might be the right pick. I'm not really sure here. Again, I go back to Finn. If he's actually enters this, wouldn't surprise me at all if he were to win it. But I still feel at the end of the day, there's a lot of candidates on the SmackDown side, but Bron Breakker still seems right for some reason. They're not pushing him, almost suspending him, doing all these side storylines with him to not win the Rumble, I think. I don't think Cody will be a 3-time winner. He might be at some point in his career. I don't think that this is the year. I do like that Roman's a part of it, and he's a possible winner. But I feel like since it was really just like a video graphic package that played to say that he was going to be in the Rumble, I don't feel like he's really a smart pick to win the Royal Rumble, but that wouldn't surprise me at all either. Again, there's Finn, plenty of people on the SmackDown side to win it, but again, I feel like you can work other storylines with them to have feuds with Drew or Sami or whomever on the SmackDown side. So I come back to Bron Breakker. I will stick with that. To me, it'd be kind of funny if someone else from the division took the Rumble, won the Rumble, took that spot from Bron Breakker. But at the end of the day, I do feel the Rumble pick will be Bron Breakker. Again, a lot of arguments for a lot of guys, but I will stick to my pick from the beginning of the year. Bron Breakker, your men's Royal Rumble winner. All right, well, thank you for watching this video. I would love to hear what you think of these picks. Your thoughts on WWE in this first month of 2026, where things are going. I feel we're in for a lot of really, really good surprises over the next few months leading up to WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania is pretty official now, so let's see what Royal Rumble entails. And leave your comments, leave your picks down below. Share this with your wrestling friends, and we will catch you next time.